Or is it Porsche? I don't know, but I like the way Porsche sounds better, so I'm going to go with that. Porsche. This is the 2019 Porsche Panamera. This vehicle drives just like you would come to expect from a Porsche. And when you hear in auto racing that a car is loose or tight, you truly understand what that means when you drive this cool vehicle. It is super tight, and I love the way a vehicle drives when it's tight. It is beyond super responsive, it's really tight, and it is really, really fast and a lot of fun to drive. This Panamera comes with a 3.0 liter turbocharged V6 engine. It has 330 horsepower. It's white with black Luxor interior and has specially designed 20-inch Panamera designed wheels, heated and ventilated seats. The Bose surround sound system in this vehicle is super, and I don't think I've ever driven a vehicle that has a better sounding system. You can turn on Frankie Goes to Hollywood and sit back and relax, don't do it. And how about this cool wing? This model is $97,740. It can go up to over $263,000 in its exclusive series. Welcome to our show, Brokers in Cars Talking Contracts. Each week we drive around in some super cool cars, talking to some somewhat cool brokers about the contract. Our special guest today is CEO and team leader of Keller Williams Palmetto, Matt Carroll. The reason Matt's our special guest today is he's head of the Central Carolina Realtors Association Contract Committee, which I've served on since 2005. He and I argue like brothers at these meetings, and when somebody brings up an idea, everyone sits back to see us go at it. We both love it. It makes us think more because you know if you say something, you better be able to defend it or the other one is going to eat your lunch. And that's what makes both of us argue the positions better and makes the contract better for everybody. So you ready to start it?
Yep.
All right. Well, Matt, man, I really appreciate you coming today and talking with me about the contract. And because you're the head of the contract committee and have been so for what, now 2 years?
Yep, 2 years.
I figured nobody would be better suited to go
straight,
over.
not right.
Go straight here. I figured nobody better suited to go over paragraph 8, 9, and 10 than you. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think what we should do is start with paragraph 10 because I think paragraph 10 is easier to go over than 9.
Yep.
It kind of plays. But let's lay the groundwork with paragraph 8 because it all starts with paragraph 8.
Yeah, sounds good.
So paragraph 8 is very simple. All you have to know about paragraph 8 is that you have the right to do inspection. The buyer has a right to inspect. They have do any inspections they want to do at their cost. That the seller has to have the house available to them to do those inspections with utilities on. That's
right.
a big thing that people kind of forget.
Always gets forgotten.
Yep. And then the buyer has a right to re-inspect afterwards to make sure any repairs have been done, as well as to make sure that the house has been maintained in the same conditions. That pretty much cover it?
That's got it. The other thing, the infamous inspector term.
Oh yeah. Okay, so when the contract committee first started writing that provision, there was a lot of dispute back and forth because the contract committee wanted to make sure we had legitimate inspectors asking for repairs. And so we defined what an inspector was, somebody who's really licensed or in that business, so that somebody wouldn't go get their mom or their minister or their friend to go out and say all this repair work to be done. But the reality of it is, it doesn't really matter because under the due diligence provisions, which we'll talk about, you can terminate for any reason whatsoever. So if your minister comes out and says they don't like it, then you can cancel for that. So it really doesn't matter. Plus, repairs are all negotiated between the seller and the buyer anyway, so
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yep. And then, of course, if I want the carpet replaced because it has pet urine on it, I don't know what inspector I get for pet urine. I mean, is there pet urine?
The old pet urine inspector?
Yeah, I mean, that's not a job I would want to have, so I think that's crazy. But I think that pretty much sets the basis for 10 and 9. Yep. So tell me, in your practice, what do you see about it, and what do you think about paragraph 10? I really like that paragraph.
So yeah, you really got 10A and 10B. 10A is people that want to. It's an as-is paragraph, right? So 10A is people that are willing to buy the house as is, but still want to look at it. They just saying, I always say that there's 3 options. You can either take it, you can leave it, or you can ask for repairs. Is generally what people do. Mm-hmm. And paragraph 10 limits it to just the first 2. You can either take it or you can leave it, and that's it. So you take it or leave it, and that's that. You're not going to ask for any repairs. Okay. So 10B is where it's either like a tear down, or sometimes investors get into it, and they've already had the house looked at a little bit. They're planning on there being some repairs. They just want to make sure it's not a total disaster.
Right.
So they're saying, we want to have, we're going to buy it as is. We're not going to have a due diligence. We're not going to have the right to back out of the contract.
Okay. So I really like in paragraph 10 when the committee, we did an excellent job, I thought, of defining what as is means. Yep. Because a lot of contracts you'll get when people wanted to do as is back in the day, they would just write as is, whereas, or where is, and I don't even know what that means. I mean, it was
not defining how
it made no sense. So I think it's a lot better now that we tell people what as is means, and you're taking it basically with all its warts and all its scars.
And you can either do that in A by having inspections done, or you can do it in B by just not having any inspections done at all. So if you're just trying to make sure that it's okay, you already think it's got some problems, but you just want to make sure it's not about to fall down, then you do 10A and just say we're going to have it looked at, but I'm not going to ask you to fix anything. And then 10B, it doesn't matter. I'm tearing the house down anyway. I don't really care. I'm going to tear it down and build a house. So
a buyer in a really hot market could do a 10A to make a stronger offer too. I guess?
Yeah, we see that. Yep.
Or the other time I thought you might see it is if like I was buying a Great Southern Homes or a executive construction house, it's a resale. So if somebody's been in it maybe a year, and I know they build good quality houses. Free plug for my client, by the way. And so what I would do
not going to be anything wrong with it after a year.
And a lot of it's still under warranty. So make a good strong offer. That makes sense. Well, are you seeing any issues with 10A? What are the issues you see?
Yeah, so the thing about 10A is people try to use it to their advantage and say, we're going to have this be as is, and then they get inspections back and they're like, oh shoot, there's these things we want to ask for. But 10A doesn't really allow to ask for things. It's either you're taking it or you're leaving it, like we said earlier.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing because that was never the intention of paragraph 10. The intention of paragraph 10, and this is cool because I get to do a 3-point turn in this really cool Porsche, is the point of 10A was that you were either going to buy it or you weren't going to buy it. There wasn't going to be any, see, I have a Mercedes, and so now I just turned on the windshield wipers because on Mercedes you have to do it that way.
And you got to push back to go forward, or forward to go back.
Reverse to go forward, and I got to make sure I'm in reverse, which I'm not. No, I got to push forward to go back. There we go. So yeah, that's a problem with the contract that I don't know how we handle. It never was the intention of paragraph 10A to let people do inspections and then ask for repairs. And so I think what really has to happen in those situations, because I know people are doing it, is that the seller just has to hold tight and say, I'm just not going to sell it to you. You don't have the right to do to ask for repairs, and so either you buy it or you don't. But let's be honest, I do recognize that a lot of times what people will do is say, well, I'm just not going to buy it unless you make these repairs.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is it's tough to use unless everybody understands it up front. But I mean,
and some people don't take advantage of it.
Right, because they're going to say, hey, okay, then I'm walking away. But if you were to fix these couple things, I wouldn't walk away.
Well, the good thing is today it's a seller's market, so if they try to do that, so a lot of sellers will be fine and walk away.
Okay, bye. I've got 3 offers waiting.
I had one client with 47 offers on the table the other day. So do that at your own risk. What other issue you see with 10 or 10A?
Business days is always a dilemma. People counting business days wrong. We just passed Memorial Day. People forgetting about there being an extra day from Memorial Day. Forgetting about ratified over the weekend, and that's going to take it all the way through the following Monday, so you get an extra weekend.
All right, so let's talk about business days. And so a business day starts when?
Starts 8 a.m. of the following day after ratification.
So, and a business day is how long?
24 hours.
24 hours. So we'll do a little game here. So if I sign a contract on Friday at 11 a.m., when is our first day?
It's going to start that Monday then at 8 a.m.
So because we don't count weekends, we don't count federal holidays. So
unless that Monday is Memorial Day.
Right. So let's say it's Memorial Day or Martin Luther King Day, and I sign a contract at 11 o'clock on Friday morning. When's our first day?
Then it's going to be that Tuesday at 8 a.m. because you got the Monday holiday.
Yeah, that's right. Now, what happens, however, if I sign the contract, or we ratify the contract rather, at 6 a.m. on Friday morning?
Then it starts Friday at 8 a.m.
Friday
it's before 8 a.m. But the thing that is important is it doesn't really matter when it starts. It matters when it ends.
Right.
And so it's going to end then. If you write it on Monday at 11 a.m., like in your example, it's going to end then on that following Monday at 7:59 a.m. So that gives you through the weekend.
So you can't
that's what a lot of people
you can't
don't.
begin or end on a weekend, or begin or end on a holiday.
Right.
So and then
Yep. And that's where people, we get a lot of people, agents that come and ask questions about due diligence, and they say, so this ends it was ratified at 5, so due diligence ends at 5, right? I'm like, no, there's never a scenario where it ends at any other time other than 7:59 or so.
All right. How about 10B? Are you seeing any problems with 10B?
10B is used so rarely that I don't really see a whole lot of problem with 10B.
I don't think there's really much issue. So really 10B is somebody's going to tear down the house. They just really want the lot, or they're planning on gutting the house, and so they really don't care.
If somebody has enough guts to use 10B, then they probably don't have any issues with it. It's used rarely because it's such a binding thing. No due diligence at all.
Okay. Well, I think that covers 8 and 10. So now let's switch over to paragraph 9.